Thank all of you for taking time today with us as we pause and recognize the incredible sense of loss, grief, and sadness we and many in our community feel.
We begin here at 5 o'clock with breaking news and a heart-wrenching tragedy. 2 teenagers are dead, several others hurt, and a sheriff's deputy severely injured. All the result of a devastating car crash in Beaverton. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Molko. All 5 teenagers, including the 2 who were killed, are students at Southridge High School. Let's go ahead and bring in Mike Benner at the Washington County Sheriff's Office in Hillsborough. Mike, Beaverton in mourning tonight, and law enforcement where you are, as we just heard, also feeling this incredible sense of loss.
Yeah, David, this sort of thing just doesn't happen every day. 2 teenagers lost their lives. 3 others and a sheriff's deputy are fighting for their lives. What happened early this morning is beyond awful, no matter how you look at it.
By late Wednesday morning at the corner of Southwest Murray and TV Highway, this pile of yellow police tape was all that was left from a deadly crash that happened here just hours earlier.
The kid lost his life or lost their lives, so it's a pretty sad thing.
5 of these boys' classmates at Southridge High were in a car that, according to authorities, blew a red light and collided with a Washington County Sheriff's Office SUV. It happened around 12:30 Wednesday morning. 3 teens, including the driver, were badly hurt. 2 others, identified as 17-year-old Matthew Amaya and 16-year-old Juan Pacheco Aguilera, died at the scene.
It's sad that young lives are being taken away so fast, especially in a car accident. It's pretty terrible.
The entire Washington County Sheriff's Office is grieving too, for those kids and for their colleague who was behind the wheel of that SUV. Deputy Michael Trotter has been with the Sheriff's Office for nearly a decade. We're told he suffered life-threatening injuries and has a long road to recovery.
Last night is a stark reminder of how dangerous police work can be. It's not only the bravery of my team that amazes me, it is also the unwavering support for each other as they raise their hand every day to accept a certain amount of risk.
The gravity of the situation was evident back at Southridge High School, where we met 2 Sunset High School students dropping off a card and donuts to show their support.
It's devastating. Our hearts go out to all the families and the victims, and just wishing for a recovery.
We want to show our support, like, in the community. Like, it could have been anyone, anywhere around here. Like, we all were talking about, like, we drive that same road every day, and, like, just making sure that they know, like, everyone in the community is supporting them and, like, thinking about them.
And that support means the world to the Southridge High School community, a community that in all likelihood is forever changed by the overnight crash.
It's obviously a sad thing. It's going to be on everyone's minds. Lots of students knew of him, so I don't think the rest of the school year is going to be as normal.
Yeah, that young man there is certainly on to something. This is incredibly tough, and that explains the extra counselors who were on hand at Southridge High School today. One more thing worth mentioning, we know that the Washington County Crash Analysis and Reconstruction Team is investigating this crash, and we should learn more in the coming days. Let's send it back to you.
There are just no words for how sorry we are, and we send our healing thoughts to those who are still recovering. Thank you, Mike. Part of I-5 will close tonight to clean up a crash from yesterday. This was between Woodland and Kalama, Washington, about 25 miles north of Vancouver. Starting at 9 o'clock tonight, crews will close the right 2 southbound lanes to recover a semi-truck involved in the crash. The closure will last through 5 a.m. 2 semis were in the crash. 3 other cars were also damaged. Amazingly, nobody was seriously hurt.
Developing tonight, a recent and unexpected decision from Oregon Governor Kate Brown is drawing heavy criticism even from her own party. So earlier this month, the governor granted clemency to a convicted murderer. His name is Kyle Hedquist. Now, back in 1994, when he was 18, He killed a 19-year-old named Nikki Thrasher. Law enforcement say he lured Thrasher to a rural location and shot her in the back of the head. The motive, Hedquist feared she might tell police about some burglaries he had committed. Now, he was sentenced to life without parole. Now he's been released. In a statement today, Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat, said, quote, "This clemency decision is wrong on every level, starting with its callousness toward the crime victim's family and extending to all Oregonians, counting on public officials to make decisions with public safety in mind. Plain and simple, I oppose this grossly irresponsible use of the clemency powers," end quote. So we have reached out to the governor's office for comment. We haven't heard back yet. Governor Brown did defend her decision in social media posts, saying teenagers, even those who have committed terrible crimes, have a unique capacity for growth and change.
In Vancouver, police say a man robbed a Dutch Bros coffee stand at gunpoint. This happened at the Dutch Bros on Mill Plain Boulevard at 104th just before midnight. The man ran off with money from the stand and a worker's cell phone.
Never been robbed at gunpoint before, so this is definitely a first and hopefully last for me. But I'm just really happy that everybody's okay. I'm happy that my crew's okay and that nobody was shot, nobody was harmed.
We are so grateful for that. I was there just after it happened, and as you can imagine, the employees were very shaken up, but they're so brave. Police are still looking for the robber. They say he's a white man, about 5'11" and thin. If you have any information, you should call Vancouver Police.
To the war in Ukraine, where Russia cut off gas supplies to Bulgaria and Poland and then warned other European nations they might be next. The EU says the move amounts to, quote, blackmail in an attempt to weaken resolve among Ukraine's allies. Now, both Bulgaria and Poland are heavily reliant on Russian gas, with Germany and Italy the largest importers there of the bloc. On the ground, Russian troops continue heavy assaults on key Ukrainian cities like Mariupol. New satellite images show what appears to be a third mass gravesite. The UN says close to 2,800 civilians, Ukrainian civilians, have been confirmed dead in the war. The actual death toll, though, is likely even higher. Meanwhile, a University of Oregon professor's work is now unexpectedly helping Ukrainian refugees. Let's bring in Brian Clerkley here. Brian, he's an architect helping design a university, and one that is quickly changing with the times here.
Yes, that's right, David. The professor of architecture had started the work on the new Ukrainian Catholic University 14 years ago, well before the war. It's now being used to house refugees and as a distribution center.
They were designed for different purposes, but two of the largest buildings are residence halls, so they have adapted very well.
This is the Ukrainian Catholic University in Lviv, Ukraine. New buildings designed and developed by Professor Gerald Gass from the University of Oregon are now being used to house refugees. A distribution center is set up in the library.
We are housing, I would say, about 300 families, refugees from other parts of Ukraine.
Professor Gass has been working on the project since 2008 with several students, including Paul Komarinets, a Ukrainian American from Portland. He visited the university last summer before the war started and still has family in Ukraine.
Some sides of the family, though, such as my brother-in-law, they have more dire consequences because they have family in Mariupol and in cities that are under direct conflict. So, yeah, there's worries everywhere.
Some classes at the university continue via Zoom. Many students and faculty have left campus, but some have stayed to assist the refugees.
Their commitment is 100%. I have never seen a more highly motivated group of people.
The university was important for education before the war. Now it's become a lifeline for hundreds of people.
Since Lviv is currently a hub for a lot of the supplies that come to Ukraine, so they, as a university, they also hold a lot of supplies, and they would ask for a lot of medical supplies. They would ask for combat supplies such as vests and other things such as that. And so what they do, their job is sort of as a distribution center, and they're always open to welcome more supplies, more aid to their university.
And the campus building project for now is on hold until the fall, but it really depends on what happens with the war. Professor Gass hopes the university does not become a target. Laurel?
But we hope not too. Thank you, Bryant. Trimet says it needs hundreds of new bus operators to keep up with demand and is increasing entry wages to help make that happen. Galen Etlin shares how even people without experience can get on board.
Trimet's #1 priority right now is hiring.
Most severe staffing shortage in Trimet history.
Tia York says the company needs to hire 300 bus drivers to recover from pandemic cuts.
When we don't have enough operators, it's our riders who could potentially suffer.
Multiple bus routes have been reduced because of low staffing. Trimet says in the early months of the pandemic, ridership was down as much as 75%. But now that people are traveling and working in person again, demand is up.
It was a milestone week last week when we saw more than 1 million rides in just 1 week.
The benefits are awesome.
So the campaign is on. Testimonials like this from current drivers are being advertised on social media across markets.
Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Arizona.
Trimet is increasing entry driver pay to $25.24 an hour, up about $3.50. To retain recruits, the company is offering a $7,500 hiring bonus that will get spread out over 3 years.
No commercial driver's license, no problem. Trimet says it will train people without experience driving a bus, and it will pay you to do it.
We need to bring in more workers.
Bill Bradley helps represent the drivers' union and knows finding and keeping bus operators is tough right now.
What sort of things would help retain those drivers?
The existing drivers have been through a lot during this pandemic. We got to find ways to make the job safer, more enjoyable, better work-life balance.
Trimet said increased entry pay will also apply to existing drivers hired before the bump.
We want to show all of our bus operators how much we appreciate what they do for Trimet.
The union is set to negotiate with Trimet later this year, with hopes to cement the better pay long term. It says transit companies stand to gain from employee retention, especially now that ridership is increasing.
If you look at gas prices, used car prices, increased traffic.
After so much change, Trimet's sights are set on the road ahead, prioritizing its next crew of drivers.
As someone who enjoys working with the public.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.